blockchain does is it makes everyone the bank. So that's what the term distributed comes from. So everyone has a copy of the transactions, the ledger or the database, whatever you want to call it. And because everyone has a copy, everyone is constantly checking that to make sure that everyone else is in line. So when you have the community as the bank, that allows untrusted parties to make valid transactions to each other. And that is the idea and the motivation behind blockchain. And quickly, to break up the word blockchain into block and chain, block refers to either a transaction or a group of transactions that have to get verified by the community through techniques such as mining, which is proof of work or proof of stake. And once these blocks of transactions are verified, they get added to the chain. And so hence you have a blockchain, which is a chain of a bunch of blocks of transactions throughout history that is essentially the immutable or the unalterable record of
the more tokens will be there. But although each community doesn't need to have its own token, but the advantage of that, each community does sometimes does make sense. And those cases are when the community sees enough of a commonality between themselves in terms of multiple advantages, like building trust, reducing the cost of transactions, and promoting the camaraderie between them, and so on. And there's lots of different advantages, right? Just like a typical currency does. But in this digital world, it's no longer divided up into like countries. It's more divided up into communities. The community can span multiple countries, and that's when currencies start failing. That's when you need tokens. So that's a simple analogy.
Fascinating. That's why all these countries are so afraid, right? Which leads me to how do we use these blockchain, and how can we really use something like this for cricket, coffee, and cinema, which is runs, right? How can we intertwine that? Raghu, you want to take a crack at that?
Sure. Yeah, just going back to my analogy of this digital world versus a country, like, when I'm in this digital world, my interests span across multiple countries. If there is a cricket match in West Indies or London that I need to go to, and if I'm dependent on banks each time to transact, and how do I know the person I'm transacting with in the other country is legit and I can trust him or her to transfer like thousands of dollars in advance to book either a room or some other event space or something like that. And that's where the tokens come in, where I can build trust into the system. So when I transact with the token, actually I can go back and see the history of each token, how it's come, where it's gone. And as a result, I can also put in a rating system for each vendor on the platform. So think of it as Airbnb, except it's not just about rooms, but it's about cricket, coffee, cinema, and underlying all of that is this platform that enables you to transact either from the vendor to the customer, or let's say me as a customer, I want to meet other people, like-minded people, and how do I know that I'm going to run into such people at the coffee shop? Well, that's the platform that's enabling you to do that.
And there's a level of trust there too, right?
Exactly,
So that
trust is the number one thing.
Yeah.
The consumer is benefiting by the fact that there's not an institution between the two parties. So any of the costs of an institution are eliminated. And if you think of an institution, the foundational idea is creating trust between strangers in society. And blockchain answers this need without relying on institutions. And therefore, you have the cost savings not associated with those institutions. The other is speed. As blockchain technologies improve, transactions, however complex, can be executed in a matter of minutes. I'm sure we've all had an experience where we're trying to do a bank transfer international, and it takes days. And it's strange today that it would take days. But I think with blockchain technology, it would much more likely take minutes, or I guess someday perhaps almost instantaneously.
Match fixing crickets, match fixing on crickets, and how does cryptocurrency or blockchain play a role in that? I think it touches, we have to consider the trust aspect of the blockchain again. The whole point of the blockchain is transactions occur between parties, untrusted parties, parties that do not have to trust each other. When people are looking to make transactions regarding cricket, whether to buy tickets or gambling or whatever it is, they usually have to go through some sort of institution, even if it's an unofficial institution of some sort. And so the question is, how do you trust this institution? And the institution is not the party or the perpetrator fixing the matches. So the blockchain might provide avenues in terms of decentralizing that and taking the power away from the match fixing, essentially, so that the participants have a more fair chance or fair participation in the cricket.
These are dreams, right? If the dreams don't become great experiences, what is the fun, right? So, we in Runs, we are looking at making those dreams come true, right? So the original thought started, last year when I won the Ernst & Young Entrepreneur of the Year award, E&Y, Nivedita is somewhere here, thank you, to global audience like all of us, right? So that was the origin of Runs. And all my friends, most of my friends here have been asking me, what is this Runs? So it is a community commerce platform. So in the next couple of slides, I will quickly walk you through what do we mean by that. So cricket is huge, it is so big, and it is so old as well. Some of you may not know, cricket as an official game has been played since 1709 in Dartford, right? It started there, and it has survived 300 years of country changes, currency changes, and every other change that you can think, and it has gone on to become number 2 sport in the world. And one little data item, the cricket betting alone is $150 billion per year. To give a comparison, entire India's IT industry is $150 billion. Just cricket betting is $150 billion. So it is huge, as in huge. So cinema, we are all, at least I am very passionate. I know a bunch of you are very passionate as well. Movie industry is so big. In India, they make almost 2,000 movies a year in 20 different languages, right? So it's a huge industry, multi-billion-dollar industry, multi-billion, fans and so on. So the third part of the community, apart from cricket and cinema, is the coffee. I come from a coffee town near Bangalore, Chikmagalur. We grow a lot of coffee there. And coffee for me, and I'm sure for most of you, is a wake-up drink. If you don't have a cup of coffee, I can't wake up. So I can't go to work, I can't do anything without a cup of coffee. I'm sure for most of you. And coffee also has a very interesting story. How it came to India is about around 1600, a Sufi saint traveled from Arabia to India, hiding 7 seeds of coffee, and he is supposed to have thrown it in our hometown. That is how the entire coffee industry came in, right? So again, that's a multi-billion-dollar industry. Some 2 more numbers that I'll throw. Shanghai alone has 64,000 coffee shops. London has 24,000 coffee shops. So coffee is a huge industry. So our community will be of cricket, cinema, and coffee. All 3 are, multi-billion-dollar industries. So commerce is about having multiple kinds of, trade transactions happening, right? So one is people who become members of our community will be able to leverage the bulk buying capability. For example, instead of one person going to Lord's or one person going to that shooting location, etc., right? Imagine if 300 of us collectively bargain the whole airplane, not 1 ticket, 2 tickets. If you bargain the whole thing, obviously you will get a lot of discount. That is one part. The second part is, can we have a partner? Somebody, I think Raghu mentioned about West Indies, right? there is a small little tour company in West Indies. He has a great tour package, but he cannot offer it to, let's say, 300 people in Mumbai to go to that. So, like our platform will be able to do that. Partners will be able to transact with partners. And you kept hearing during the panel discussion, it's about, can we have those transactions in a trusted way, in a secure way, and if it is betting related, etc., can we do it in an anonymous way? So the platform should be able to give those kind of facilities. And the third part is the technology piece, right? So we will have artificial intelligence and blockchain, which will facilitate those transactions and help you to connect to the right kind of network of people who have similar kind of interests and so on, so that they can collectively go to Lords or to the that location that I was showing. In the organization, which is the runs, wherein we would have done bulk buying of airplane tickets, or going to a cricket match, or buying an entry into a celebrity contest. So one of the things that we have a user group here in New Jersey, and this idea came from there. Can we do a bidding for a celebrity lunch or dinner? Let's say having a lunch with Amitabh Bachchan or Kajol, etc. Right? Can we bid? See, Warren Buffett does his annual lunch bidding. Last year, it was bid at $2.68 million, right? So he also actually auctioned one of his empty wallet for $1 million. So which went to charity. So I would love to have a lunch with Amitabh Bachchan if there was a bidding mechanism, right? I'm sure like a lot of you would want maybe Deepika Padukone or Kajol or whoever is your favorite star, right? So we will be able to give those kind of benefits. So to do all these things, we have put together a global board. Jimmy, he is our chairman. He was my boss, and he has 35 years of financial services industry experience. Tom Linton. Tom is a very unique banker. He has done more than $50 billion worth of transactions. So he is our board member. And we have Ji Cho. She is a very unique, some of my classmates from Columbia will know. She has a very unique skill set of knowing both technology, finance, and media industry. So she brings that skill set. And Moka-san, he brings probably one of the rarest combo, Japan, India, and US combination. He used to head Marubeni Corporation in the US. You heard Tony Robbins, he's an advisory board member. Again, when they introduced him, they didn't tell about one other interesting aspect of Tony. He is mentoring probably the world's first luxury MBA. So, that's a very unique thing. Anu Rangachar, she has a more than a decade of experience in the movie industry. She used to head Mumbai Film Festival. So, she has the network of the movie industry. And this time, we are doing one other experiment. Instead of just loading with experienced people, we have brought in Jessica Lee. She is a student in Harvard, and she is my reverse mentor to our board, so that we get millennials' view of the next generation's ideas and so on. So she used to work as an intern at Charles Schwab, and now she is going into Morgan Stanley. Very large market, multi-billion-dollar kind of industries, cricket, cinema, and coffee. We have put together a very aggressive growth plan. We will be operational, in 125 cities where cricket is dominant by next World Cup, which is next April or May, right? So we want to be up and running in 125 cities, and to achieve all this, we have put together an experienced board, a great advisory board, and a management team which has the experience of scaling that kind of business. And we are putting together a global network of founding patrons. So, if you have I mean, we'll be pushing that 125 cities name on our website very soon. And if anybody wants to participate and help us build this very unique business, we would welcome that help. So, in one line, RUNS is community commerce platform of fans, by fans, and for fans. Thank you very much.